Sikhs from around the world by showcasing their professions, passions, and perspectives. I'm your host, Mandheer Singh, aka the Nihung. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Sukhwinder Singh, thank you very much for joining me in the Nihung's arena.
I'm thrilled. I'm excited.
Oh, I am too.
Thank you.
I always enjoy my conversations with you, and I think many people will appreciate hearing some of the background stuff with all the animations that you've done.
Gee, okay.
So Sukhwinder Veerji, you are the director of Vismaad, the company that produced the Sikh animations, Sahibzadey, Bhai Taru Singh, by Shobeg Singh, Sabaj Singh, whatever the Banda Singh Bahadur,
Sundri,
yep, all great projects, very inspirational for a lot of people over the years. But why don't you give a little bit background about yourself and some of the things that you've accomplished over the last few years?
Okay, so my background. I'm born and brought up in a good Sikh family. So I had this privilege of having my growing years doing sangat, going to gurdwaras, going to kirtan smagams, and then the sakhiyan and all those stuff, which created my interest in reading more of Sikh history and all. And then after my graduation in science, I did my MBA. I started my career in sales and marketing. Then went to Singapore for a job. Before that, I had a small stint doing a business which didn't work. It failed. I had to close it down. Went to Singapore to make some money, recover the losses. Came back and then started. Around that time, it was like it was the Y2K year. To 1999, I came back from Singapore, and then I again started my a try to get some business, but I couldn't do it. Then I decided, okay, why not do some software courses? And I enrolled in Oracle program. Thought maybe I'll go to USA, and that was very hard those days. But the last year of my Oracle program, I got a call from Singapore from a friend. They say, okay, we are planning to set up a company, and we'll have an offshore center in Punjab. So would you like to head it? So that's how I start get into another entrepreneur journey started, and we started with a small IT team, worked for 4 years. And around that time, one of my old friends, he was a junior in my university days. So we started meeting up quite often. And he was working for a company. They did some small animation stuff.
Okay.
So he started and he brought the idea. So it's like, we should be doing animation. That's the thing. So we were discussing.
So was he like a Gursikh colleague?
Yes, yeah.
Hanji, okay.
He was Gursikh. He was Gursikh, and from a Gursikh family. And we joined in during my universities in Amritsar. His name is Navneet Singh. So every day we would meet, every second, third day we used to meet up, and he would say, "Okay, let's start doing animation. We should do animation. That this thing happened like for almost a year and a half, or maybe more than that. And one day when he came to I'm sorry, I told you there's unwanted guest in my office.
Yeah, that's okay.
A fly, it may be causing some noise. Okay,
anyway. He also wants to be on Nihung's arena.
So then one fine day we decided, okay, enough talking. We should go do an ardas and then take the plunge. So we did an ardas, asked Guru's permission, took Guru Sahib's blessings, and that's where the journey started doing animations. And
I think that's actually an important point to make too. Because often we forget this. We learn all these things in school, like how to do a business or how to start a project or whatever we're going to do. But the Gursikh way is to start with ardas. That whatever endeavors we take, we start with ardas. That way we have Guru Sahib on our side. And then also for ourselves, it reminds us that I am doing this with Guru Sahib's blessings. So you also don't deviate from that Guru.
Yeah, true. Because we say like kita lodiye kam so har pe aakhiye.
Yeah.
That's the way Gursikh way. Guru Sahib they laid the path for us. No, so that's Ardas Gursikh too every time. Even like I know when he used to travel. So before every journey, they were always used to be Ardas. So even today, like that's become a part of our life. If we are backing on a journey, so we do Ardas before leaving the home.
Yeah.
That should be the way in a Gursikh's life. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So then you guys had been talking about it a lot of times. You talked about animations, but what was the idea? What animation were you originally talking? What did you want to do?
We weren't talking about anything as such. We knew that we need to do some animation for young Sikh kids. But when we just finally decided we're going to do it, so it was the year like of 300 years of Sahibzadey Shahidi. So that was a natural choice. So that's the reason we chose Chote Sahibzadeh Sakhi.
Okay. Yeah. So I know a lot of people, they always think, oh, these are cartoons for children. And yeah, the target audience is the children. We want to teach the children early, young, so that those values and those ideas and those principles are ingrained in them. But I didn't think of them as children's movies. I thought of them as Sikh movies.
Sikh movies, true.
Because even as an adult, I watched it and I thought, God, I wish this was there when I was a kid. That I could have seen this when I was a kid. And then it also reminded me of some of the Sikh character, because even we don't think about it when we watch some movies, because usually we watch movies, we want to be entertained. And yes, you have to do some entertaining when you're doing this, because you have to have attention span of children and things like that.
Sure.
But like one thing that really stood out to me in the Sahibzadeh movie that you guys did was Mata Gujri and her Gursikh qualities. It's not like she's portrayed in other Sakhis or other movies or things like that, where she's a very worried, scared person. In your movie, she showed Gursikh qualities, accepting Bana, accepting Hukam, keeping that calm energy and those kinds of things. How did you model Mata Gujri? How did you know to make those qualities in a cartoon?
Okay, because we knew, like we had during our growing years, like the Sakis were told of Mataji as an embodiment of courage, of Pana and everything, because she accepted the Shahidi of her husband, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, and then she had the courage to take in her hands head of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib, Pavitra Onada Jeda Sis Leki Aayi, and then she was like a very strong lady, and because she was embodiment of Sikhi and then the years in Baba Bakala and all. So then we have heard stories of all the Sikh Bibiyan who did endure so much of pain. They had to watch their children be killed before their eyes. So we knew that Mata Gujri ji was the inspiration of all those ladies, all those Sikh Bibiyan. So it has to be like that. And there's very interesting story behind the way when we were looking around for a voiceover for Mata Gujri ji. So we were like totally novice to this line. We had no idea how the animation is done. We had no idea how the movie is done. Nothing. So just only we only wanted to do the animation. That was the only thing which was driving us. We got the script ready. And then we thought, like, where should we go to do the dialogue recording? So there was used to be Dara studio near the Dara Singh, the wrestler.
Yeah.
He had a studio here. So we said, okay, Dara studio, okay, maybe this will help us. So we reached them and we asked them, okay, we want to do some recording. So no, we are a film studio. We do the shootings there. We have the setups and all. So then where we go? Okay, you go to the other studio. So they send us to another studio, which was the real recording studio. They used to dub the movies and all.
I see.
And the person, luckily, he was a co-producer of one of the first very celebrated Punjabi movie, Chan Pardesi, which won the national award in India. And then he asked us, so you have the script ready? Yes. So have you done the screenplay? what's that?
Right.
So I said, man, you have to have a screenplay. So screenplay will decide how the story is set and everything. I say,
Yeah.
okay,
So
so we don't
just to
know.
clarify for people, so script is you have all the dialogue.
Yes.
Screenplay is you are talking about what the scene is,
Yes.
who is saying it, what their emotion, like this person is going to say this
Yes.
in a confused voice. This person is going to this kinds of things.
Correct. And the setup, like where the camera would
Camera
be,
is going to go.
and and all those stuff, and it's a detail before and then the whole movie can be cut up in so many small scenes, and
Okay.
each scene can have a different screenplay.
And this was the first time you heard that you need screenplay.
Yeah.
So now you have to learn how to write a screenplay.
Yes. So I say, we don't know how to do screenplay. They say, okay, I can introduce to somebody who does a screenplay for Punjabi movies. So here comes the guy, and we could see him. His eyes were red shot, like the hangover from the last night.
Oh no!
and he said, like, hey, I'll do your screenplay. I'll charge you this money, and I'll come and stay in a hotel in Chandigarh. Your every food, everything will be taken care by you. I say, hotel, food, and everything. So, man, this guy is gonna drink.
Yeah, he's gonna drink and eat, and on your dime.
and write screenplay for Sahibzadey. I said,
right.
No, we are not going to do it. So we'll do without screenplay. Okay, we decided we're not going to do screenplay. We'll do it without it, whatever. So then came the stage where we needed the voiceovers. In animation, you do the recording first because you can waste the word, right? Because you draw every single line. So in normal movies, you can shoot, you can do multiple shots, you can have so much of extra shoot. Then on the editing table, you cut and you create the whole movie, and then the actors come and do the dubbing again.
I see.
So here we didn't have that kind of luxury. We could have done extra scenes because every scene drawn is a cost to the movie. So we decided we'll do the dubbing first.
Yeah.
And then we were searching for different people, and when it came to Mata Kuchri ji, somebody suggested there's a lady. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੋਪ ਹੈ ਨਾ, she's a top in Punjabi theatre. So if you want a big shot in Punjabi theatre, and she can do a very good job. And say, okay. So then one day we said, okay, she'll come for the audition. So we were sitting in the studio, and the lady walks in, and she has a cut short, a bob cut here, and I say, I don't see Mata Gujari ji. And I say, now what to do now? And it so happened, she was such an accomplished lady. And before she came, I had a talk with her on the telephone. I said, okay, can I send you the script? You can rehearse it. No, Sukhwinder ji. ਅਸੀਂ ਥੀਏਟਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਖੜੇ ਖੜੇ 4-5 different variations ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦੇਾਂਗੇ ਨਾ I can do different variations, I can give different takes, you can decide what you want. And then when she goes into the recording setup, and she could deliver. She could speak a single dialogue. Every dialogue she was speaking was not coming proper. Then I told her, ma'am, take the script, do a rehearsal, come back again. And then when going back, she told the story, no, I can do this script. No, I can do this role. And now we were stuck. I told so many people. Then I had a friend. He's in Windsor these days, Sukhwinder Singh. And his wife, she used to teach in a school. And I asked her, do you have a drama teacher in the school? Maybe she can help. She introduced me to a few ladies. None were were passing our test. Then I told that Panji, why don't you do it? See, I never done acting. I do a casual news reading on All India Radio, but that too in Hindi. But I've never done acting, anything of the sort. I can try, come. And you won't believe, in one take, she did all the dialogues.
Oh, wow.
One take.
Yeah.
The whole story. And we normally it's such a long story. We would have taken so many different takes.
Right.
And she said my hairs were like all, I had like hair raising experience. And because that's Bhavana was there, no?
Yeah.
She was so much like the emotions were there. She was feeling overwhelmed because she's doing dialogue for Mata Gujri. And that transcended to the story also.
Yeah.
That when the audience used to watch the movie, they could feel that emotions, I mean, it's so amazing.
Yeah, no, that's really fascinating, because only those people that can relate to that Gursikh character are going to be able to deliver that kind of dialogue, right? Because even actors in Hollywood or Bollywood, anywhere, the ones that are the really good actors, it's because they have that experience, and then they draw on that experience in order to deliver that emotion. So you can't expect someone who has no understanding what it's like to be wife of a guru, mother of a guru, grandmother of the guru's children. I mean, like you have to know the history. You have to know what those feelings must be in order to really convey it. And especially just to convey it in your voice, not even with expression, right? Because you're going to draw the cartoon. She is just delivering in the voice.
Voice only,
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So that's how you found your Mata Gujri. Wow. So then how did you cast the other character? How did you cast the other players? Like the Nihung Singh who's telling the story and...
Nihung Singh, because we needed an anchor, and there's one good anchor like Shami Narang. When I was growing up during my school, college days, he was a news anchor on Doordarshan, the Indian TV setup. And then that was like, I used to, like, he was one of the best news readers. Then he started his own voiceover studio. Then he used to do the voiceovers and all those stuff. And then most of the Punjabi, the Sikh, the cassettes used to come during those days. Most of those had his voice, like the Bhai Harjinder Singh's, the first Kavitawa gayi, in that also Bhai Mandheer Singh, he's also his Kavatama also, he had the voiceover. So he became he became our natural.
So he's a recognizable voice and a very professional voice and all those things. Yeah. That's really great. So that was with Sahibzadey. And then did you have any other like challenges getting that movie done? Once you had the players in place and you had the studio and you started recording, how did that go after that?
Okay, so before that, like we were looking at budgeting, and we decided how to do it. Like we didn't have any animation experience. So my friend, so now by that time he had joined my IT company also. So I asked him, so why don't you go and ask the previous company where you used to work if they do the animation for us? They said we'll do it, and then they said like the budget is like you bring the script and we'll do it for 300,000 rupees.
Okay.
And he said, like, good money. Okay. And we were I had a partner in Singapore. So together we decided, okay, we'll pool 200,000 each. So 600,000, 300,000 for the movie and 200,000 for promotion and the stuff. 600,000, we'll have the movie ready. So when we did the script, everything was ready. We went to them back. They said, no, we are not going to do it. We can't do it. We are busy and the stuff. And now the ardas has been done. There was no going back. So we decided to hire a team. So I found a guy who said, I can try my luck. So he came on board on 1st of January 2004. He started experimenting on, he was a Flash animator. He used to do the text animation, all those stuff.
Right.
No character. He didn't have any experience of character animation. And after a month or so, he said that, look, he did a small, very basic kind of animation. He said, I can do some animation, but I am not an artist. I can draw the characters, and it's about Sahibzadey. You need somebody very accomplished, an artist who can draw the Sahibzadey and all the characters for me. Then I'll make the movie. Okay, so we went around looking for an artist. One guy, he accepted to join us. So then he joined. Together they experimented. Another 2 months passed. They were able to do a small animation. Then he said the artist who came in, he said, no, it is not my thing. I can do it alone. I need a team. I'll have a team. I will do the rough animation. There will be a team who will add the frames to it. and there will be a guy who will clean it, and then we'll scan and do the animation on computer. I say, okay. So we went around to the local art college. We hired 3-4 girls, told them we'll make you an animator. I mean, we didn't know anything about animation, and we're telling the girls,
we're going to make you animator.
So they came, they joined, they became on board. And then after like 3-4 months, we were able to create a small clip about 5-6 minutes. And by that time, all the money that we had pulled was gone.
Oh boy.
So
and
now
you have 6 minutes of animation.
So what to do? Like we were doing, like we would sit down. Okay, let's go ask 20 people. But now we knew that if 6 minutes is 600,000, and we're planning to do 60 minutes. So add multiply. So we need 60 lakh or 600,000. Huh?
Yeah.
60,000. So over 6 million. No? So I say, okay, how to do? Nobody is gonna pay us, give us this money in India because we have no experience, no credibility, nothing. So okay, do one thing: go USA, raise funds there. No?
Yeah.
So I applied for my.
Americans are suckers. You can.
Only thing was like, okay, it's a multiplier, 40, multiplier.
No,
of 40,
absolutely,
so
because we're going to think in dollar. And Indians are thinking in rupees. So when you're saying 6 million rupees, how much is that? That is
during those days, I think it was it was around for 50,000 or 60,000 US dollars. Roughly,
yeah, US dollars, which should be no problem if you ask 100 people for $6,000 or $600. Yeah,
$600. Yeah, that was sort of multiplication we were doing. And so I applied for my visa. I got my visa, and then in August I landed in the USA. Before that, I went to Singapore. So I went to the guy for whom we were working. So we asked him. He was a big shot in Singapore. I asked him if he would like to invest in this project. He didn't say anything. And then I took my flight, landed in LA. From there, I took a flight to Toronto, and then the following Saturday, I went to the Jatha program with Dula Veerji. So after the Kirtan Swag was over, Veerji asked the Sangh to stay back. So he let me play the video. And once that was done, and I was a celebrity, instant celebrity there. So everybody thought they were surrounding me. Video, oh, awesome! We want this. I say, then I need money for that. Okay, we'll give you the money. No worries. So I say, okay, now only if I'm at Toronto is such a great response. So I have still whole of USA to go and cover. So I feel like I was so upbeat. Okay, now we'll do it. But the same evening, my partner from Singapore, he called me. He said, our investor, he's willing to take this project on board. He's willing to invest in it. I said, okay, great. Now, if we go ask 20 people, we'll be answerable to 20 people. Now we'll answer to one person. So better take it for one shot. So we say, okay, we told everyone, okay, but the money is taken care. So when the movie is ready, please help us in promotion and all. We'll come back to you again. Yeah. So I came back, and then this guy, he tells us like, okay, I'm not going to pay you. We were looking for in US dollar terms, $60,000. We were asking. He said, I don't pay you upfront. You can bring the whole team in my company, the IT company, and I'll pay the salary bill every month of the team, the animators that you hired. I say, okay, now the company, the project will be his. Now, no more. We were,
Yeah, that's part of the problem. If one person is giving you the money, then they also want to control.
Control, yeah. I say like, he's going to take the credit. It was a big thing for us. So we decided, okay, as such, we can do it. We don't have the money. And Vaiguji has to give him the credit and let it be,
Okay.
Our motive was to do seva, and we reconciled to the situation. We say, okay, no problem. Let him do the project and let him take the credit. Our objective was to bring this thing out for the benefit of the community, for the COM. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so I came back. We pulled the whole team into the IT company. We were working. And then few months down, something happened, and I had to, because some management issues, he wanted to control the whole thing and all those. And we had worked very hard to create that company. So I walked off the company. I resigned and said, okay, I'll do the animation. So in March 2005, the movie was almost like 60-70% complete.
Okay.
And so I decided I'll go out, I'll complete the movie. And around that time, then in March, we completed the movie. And around that time, a group from USA, they were in India, they were doing some, the Fateh group.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I know them well.
So it was almost like it wasn't in the pristine at that. It was on the wane around that time, I think. And two of their lead volunteers, when they came, they saw the project. They say, "Do you know what you have done? It's such a marvelous job. What's your plan about taking it to the Sangha?" I said, "No plans.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do it. You know, man, you should be doing it in a very proper way. It should be a community thing." And I said, "We don't know how to do it. Why don't you take the rights of this movie and you do it?" They say, "Okay, we'll do it." And we sold the rights to them. If I remember it correct, like $50,000, or I think something like that. So they took the rights for USA, Canada, and UK. So we'll promote the movie in all these countries, and we'll pay you. Said okay. And by that time, we were already like all our coffers were empty. We didn't have any money to pay the salaries. I said, okay, pay us upfront. They paid some money, and then we were able to continue the team.
Right.
We told the team, so do some small stuff, and when I come back, if the movie is successful, we'll start with the next project. Else, you can find another job. Yeah. So, but somehow they didn't have the volunteer base that they had earlier in USA. Yeah. So when I came in May, so they couldn't do any groundwork as such. There wasn't much work done, and the project was like kind of not rolling the way it should be. And
at that time you're talking about really it was the end of the Fateh kind of pro. They were kind of on the downside.
On the down, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I reached Toronto, and so they had a showing in Malton Gurdwara Sahib.
Okay.
And I went there, and the Sangat was sitting, and the team they had assigned, they didn't come. They were not there. They came almost 20-30 minutes late. And the Sangat was waiting to watch the movie. And when they came, they were having trouble hooking up the projector to the laptop and all. So I had to help them to do the projection and all. The Gurdwara Pradhan was very angry. And somehow, anyway, the movie started. It worked. Then one PP from the volunteer, end of the movie, she came to Veerji. You don't have the right people to promote the movie. It's such a marvelous project. But these people, I don't think they will be able to do justice to this project. Said, then what should I do? I can take to a person who can really do wonders for you. I say, okay. And she drives me to Sukhwinder Singh Veerji's house.
Oh, yeah.
And so Sukhwinder Singh Veerji, he was so welcoming. He said, okay. Because he said, like, I always wanted to do these kind of stuff for the community. Now you have done, I'll do it for you. He asked me, who's doing it here? I said, the Fateh group. I said, okay, tell them Toronto is your territory. And you decide whichever other territories you want. I call them. They say, okay, you take Toronto. I will do Vancouver and maybe the Midwest and 1-2 other territories. And then I took the New York back. I took the West Coast and all.
Okay.
And then it was settled. We paid back them some money. And then Sukhwinder Singh ji asked me, what's your plan? How long you are in Toronto? I say, end of this week. He said, no, you can't go loud till I tell you. Okay. So he called all the youth, and then we had a meeting. He told them, now go around, book every Gurdwara for the weekend, Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sunday evening. Book all the Gurdwaras, find all the events happening in the town, and book kabaddi matches, Tiyada Mela, whatever is happening, go and book all the events, So that was such an amazing experience. We were doing like shows every weekend.
Yeah.
And after the shows, he would come with his young son, है ना उन दसना भी है मेरा बेटा इन्हें तो 50 बार मूवी देख ली है हले भी देखता है ना so people they would watch the movie and they will buy a set of DVDs also ना एक नहीं buy करते दो लेके जाते थे that's how it happened ना? So and then okay Sunil Singh asked me how many DVDs you have in Toronto. I say 800 something like that. He said no I want more. How many you have? I say like I got in LA maybe 1100 1200 more. He said call bring them here. What more? I say like maybe another 1,000 in Singapore. Bring them in. What? How many more? I said no. We have to. Okay, produce another 2,000, 4,000. I said, and how many you can sell those? I sell. I don't sell. But I don't want to be in a situation where people demand it. I don't have it. Right. So I want enough stocks, you know. Right. And
because there's another problem there too. If you have only limited supply and there's a demand for it, and it happened anyway. People are going to pirate it. They're going to make copies and just give it. And now there's no funding coming back to the project.
Yeah. So I stayed there for 3 weekends or 4 weekends, and we sold more than 3,800 DVDs in those days. You know, it was amazing, and that gave us so much of encouragement. Then I went with so much of confidence all around USA, and that movie it not even recovered its cost. We had some loans to pay back. We did everything, and we were left with a good amount to create the next movie, which was Mandheer Singh Veerji.
Okay, so that's how you got to the second movie. All of this was just getting the groundwork done on the first movie, and kind of learning what the process is going to be. So now it seems like you realize that really you are the one that's going to have to do the promoting.
Yeah.
Right. So you were the one being booked at the Gurdwaras. You were the one speaking, saying, "This is what I've worked on," and people saw you, and they can see the passion then, that how much effort has gone into this, rather than other people doing this for you. Now you're doing it, and it seemed like you finally got some traction. That movie was. That was probably because that was groundbreaking. There was nothing like that before, but you're still saying that there was a loss.
No, not in Sahibzadey. Sahibzadey we didn't make loss. We made enough money and we were left with enough money after paying all the loans and everything. It was one of the very, very profitable. And so
you were able to fund the Mandheer Singh Veerji movie. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
I see.
The loss came in with Sundri movie.
Okay, so tell us about that. What happened with Sundri?
Okay, so what happened was after the Sahibzadey, Mandheer Singh Veerji was also okay. It just we could break even with that Mandheer Singh Veerji movie. We didn't make, and then we became so much ambitious. So we see that we started thinking ourselves maybe the next Disney, and now we said okay, we're gonna improve the quality of animation.
Yeah.
So the previous movie, 2 movies, we made them in less than like 80,000, 100,000 budget.
Yeah.
So for the third movie, we hired a team of so-called trained animators, and they did better job than the previous 2 movies. The animation was better, much better, but still not at the level of international quality. But Sundri movie we started, and we ended up spending almost $350,000 on that movie.
Oh wow!
So it's more than 3 times than the previous 2 movies, and. Around that time, Sunil Singh, he was visiting India. He came to Chandigarh. I asked him to visit our studio, and he watched this movie making, and he was amazed. He said, "Veerji, this movie, you do so much of effort. It should be on the cinema, on the big screen." You know? So, okay, now you did the groundbreaking for our Sahibzadey promotion. Now you find a way how to do it on the cinema. So he went back. He hired one guy as an intern in his company, and he asked him to do the research. So he went around, checked with the multiplexes. So they said, okay, we'll give you a screen slot. The movie timing, one of the slots. It can be anything because the time you are planning to come, it's a Hollywood blockbuster release also. So you may not get the prime times. But then whatever the ticket money you get, box office, you get 45% out of it.
Oh, so they take 55% and they give you
45%. And apart from that, there would be some other costs also to put it on the cinema, digital prints, and maybe some licenses in US, in Canada, from all the 5 provinces. where he wanted to take the movie.
Mm.
So they said, no, this is not good. They went to a single screen where Indian movie used to play. Say, okay, I'll play it for you for 1 week, all the shows, and I'll pay you 50%, and you have to ensure 7,000 people watch the movie.
Oh, wow.
So they say, okay, if you want to make, we have to ensure 7,000 people. Why don't we do 3,000 people also and take the whole money, keep the whole money? So then Sunil Singh hired a school auditorium, and he he hired it for 2 weekends: Friday evening, Saturday evening, Saturday whole day, Sunday whole day, and like it was 2 hour movie, so 1 hour break, 2 hour movie, like that. And then he made a plan. He sent me an Excel sheet of the promotion, and he had covered every single Punjabi newspaper, every single Punjabi radio, every single Punjabi TV, and then he had like 2 huge billboards on 2 approach doors to Dixie Gurudwara.
Oh, wow.
And the budget was like $22,000.
Yeah.
So, I could see the ground sweeping from my feet. What's happening now? पहला तो $3.5 लाख लाता तो $1,000 कित्थों देना होना.
Yeah. No, that's very stressful to think about how you're going to pay for all these things.
So I call Veerji. I say, Veerji, very nice promotion plan, and so when do I pay you this money? He said, you don't have to pay it. Okay, I'll take care of it. When the movie makes money, you pay it from them. And he's a smart player. He gave everybody a token money. He didn't pay the full amount to it. And then we had a huge billboard. It was such a great, huge, amazing, such a like promotion.
Right.
The buzz was there. The whole Toronto area, GTA, they knew that something is happening. And we had a very, very successful run on the screening of that movie. So we had like 5,000 people coming watch that movie, and he even got sponsors. We played the promotions of the people who sponsored the movie before the movie would start. We used to play the sponsored people there.
Yeah.
So so that's how we found a revenue stream for the movie. And from Toronto, we had like that the buzz went around. We could do movies screenings in Surrey, in Bay Area, in LA, in New York, and always. And after like about 3 months later, so we had recovered like almost 50% of the cost of the movie. I say, okay, the previous movie we had done like 150,000 from the DVDs. Let's release the DVDs, and we can make the money even. So we released the DVDs, and there we lost the movie, the whole thing, because the previous 2 movies, they were so successful. This time, the video owners, the Indian stores and all, they bought 2 DVDs each. They displayed it on their counter, and they had all the pirated copies down.
Yeah,
so
making
they were selling it for $1.
Yep.
They're selling for $1, $2, and so we lost almost $150,000 in that project. So
wow.
That was the cash loss.
But you also got so much attention then. I mean, I feel like with Sundri, I remember that was a big deal, and it was maybe bringing attention now even to the old movies. So people go back and they have all the movies. They have Sahibzadey, they have Mandheer Singh Veerji, they had Sundri. They're watching all those movies, but you still, with all the pirating and that, you still fell behind.
Yes, but in the long run, over the next few years, the Sundri DVDs kept selling, and we were able to break even that movie also. But that particular year, we were cash loss. So we didn't have enough money, and we were halfway to Bhai Taru Singh Ji, and we were thinking of stopping the production. That's when some friends, good Sikhs, they chipped in this. They paid us some loan, and that was a time this was like economic meltdown.
Yeah, the crisis.
Singapore government was crisis, and Singapore government they were offering very attractive loans. So we took 100,000 loan from Singapore, and we were able to create Bhai Taru Singh Ji, and that was another amazing story.
Yeah. So Bhai Taru Singh, that one is probably my favorite, because you hear the Sakis, all the time. You hear the Sakis, you hear people talking about it, And sometimes, I don't know, maybe we're not paying attention to the details, but in general, we know the Saki that he gets scalped, and then, you kind of know what's going on and that he was Shaheed. But what I didn't realize, or what I never paid attention to until I saw it in the movie, was he was still alive after that. And that, and to see like, oh yeah, there's much more suffering. When you talk about like torture, or when you talk about how the system was working then, it showed you that it was much more gruesome. I mean, it's one thing that somebody is torturing you and then they kill you. It's another thing that you're just dumped in a ditch and you're still alive, and now you have to have care. And it's not like today where you have doctors and nurses and all these people taking care of you and watching for infections. And then it must have been pretty gruesome. And I think it opened my eye to like understanding that, okay, this was his Bhai Taru Singh's qualities as a Gursikh. They were very well recognized by his community, right? He had a lot of support in his community. And that made me realize that was true of Sikhs in general. And this is maybe why the Mughals were struggling so much, because the community in general was with the Sikhs. And it was really about, so it wasn't about Sikhs versus Hindus or Sikhs versus Muslims. It was really against the governments, the rulers, because they were abusing their power. And that Bhai Taru Singh also kind of brought that to the forefront. We read these things, we understand them, but when you see the character, how he goes through his life, and you realize that, yeah, now I can imagine the reality, what it must have been like, that people are interacting in the relationships, and how the Sikh character was so high. And that is why his Shahidi is so remembered. Right? He wasn't just some normal unknown person doing. He was very well respected and loved, and that's why people remembered what happened to him.
And then one of my friends in Bay Area, he had a very good impression about the movie. I say the movie, people are loving it so much. He say, you know why? Because everywhere so much of infighting, Gurdwara fights, that fight, this fight. The community as such is tired, they're fed up. So when they see a true Gursikh life, they see a mirror, okay? They see, okay, where we are standing and what is a true Gursikh life like. That's the reason they're relating to it. That's the reason they're loving it. So such amazing review of the movie.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's very true. You look at it and then you self-evaluate, like, how do I compare? How am I behaving?
Yeah.
Am I acting in this way? So what were the challenges with Bhai Taru Singh? So by the time Sundri, you'd released the DVDs, you were already halfway through production, you said, of Bhai Taru Singh?
So then again, a question of finances came in again. So some Gursikhs, they helped us. They pulled some money, and so we put some money from our IT company profits and all. So we were able to complete the movie. And then when we came to the cinema we brought it to the Sangat. Oh my! So every time, the whole cinema hall, whole auditorium, everybody had their eyes welled up.
Yep.
So amazing.
Yeah. No, it was really an amazing movie. I think, like I said, I think that was, I always felt, even with Sahibzadey, I felt like these aren't just children's movies. But I think with Bhai Taru Singh, that was the first time that even maybe the target audience wasn't just children. Right?
Haji. I agree with you. We started it as a children movies, but we realized that it's for across the whole age group. Even the oldest person in the audience, he was glued to the screen when watching this movie. Even with Sahibzadey, Then we realized, and people, and it was a sad story of our Sikh community. People were not aware of Sahibzadeh Sakhiya.
Right.
You see, when we went around and when we were doing Bhai Taru Singh Ji, a very learned person, I respect him a lot. And he asked me, what is your next project? I said, Bhai Taru Singh Ji. And who Bhai Taru Singh?
Yeah.
I was shocked, man. We talk about him. We remember Bhai Taru Singh Ji every day in Ardas.
Yeah, in Ardas every day.
And then here he is one person, very senior person, and he doesn't know about Bhai Taru Singh Ji. So that was amazing. Like so people were like they were so overwhelmed watching the movie. They this first time they knew so many different things about Sikh life during those days and what the Sikh character is like,
Yeah.
and really about Bhai Taru Singh ji.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even going back to Sahibzadeh, I think even if we know the Saki in general, there are other elements that we don't pay attention to. Like Wazir Khan was obsessed now, right? And and he is forcing that he wants the Sahibzadeh to show him that respect. But how he kept pushing the line, even the people in his own court, the people around him were saying, "Oh, wait a minute, this is too far. This is too much," right? We don't think about that when we're telling the Sakis, but it comes up in the movie. You see people's reaction. People are starting to doubt him. They're looking at him like, "What are you doing? These are just children. This is not what we do." Like people had a consciousness, and they were saying that we don't agree, but you can't say anything because he's the ruler, so you can't say anything to him. So I think that same thing came up in Bhai Taru Singh for me, is how he was viewed by everybody around him, that there was respect.
Across the board. Across the
so how did we do financially then with Bhai Taru Singh? Were there any challenges there?
So after the experience of Sundri, we decided we'll not be releasing the DVDs until we have recovered the full cost of the movie.
Okay.
So we had two releases. I mean, like the first release came in October. So I was around for almost 4 months doing the screenings in all of North America. Yeah. Then we came back again for another release in February, and that was, I think, the showing was done in Detroit also.
Yeah.
So that's how we did. Like then, once we recovered the cost, and we decided to release the story, the DVDs. And I'll add another very, very nice one thing which has moved me a lot. One story. Okay, so when DVDs were not released yet. So I get a call. I was in an office, in my Mohali office. I get a call from my good Sikh friend. Friend in the thing, we used to meet in the Sangat. I mean, very not so friendly as such.
Not best friends, but like we do in Sangat. Our Gursikh friends that we see.
Friends, So he calls me. He said, "Paisa, I need the DVD of the movie." I say, "Paisa, we are not releasing the DVDs yet, so we have another like 5-6 months of doing the screenings." He said, "No, I want it." Like, "Paisa, if the DVD is released, we'll lose the money. We will not be able to recover the cost, and we'll not be able to do another movie. Right. So, do you want us to?" But he said, "No, it's a matter of life and death." I say, "Now you have to tell me the reason."
Yeah. What do you mean?
So he says, "I have a fan in Delhi, and she has like the roams coming on her hair, on the face, and then she used to clean them, clear them. And so now she watched the movie, she stopped doing it, and now the hairs are coming again back. And then she said, I'm feeling like depressed, and I'm losing that confidence. I want to watch the movie again and again so that I get that strength to keep these hairs." I said, "No, I can't say no to you." I gave him the DVD, and then later 3 years later, when I went with the Bhai Singh Shahbaz Singh movie in Delhi, after the screening, this Penji and his Singh, they came up to me, and the Penji had like almost my size of Dada, maybe in the not so prominent. And he said, "Really, do you remember me?" I say, "No, Penji, I think I'm seeing you for the first time. So you sent me the DVD, and my Veer, he came to you to get the DVD. Oh, okay, you are the one." So, wow. I'm not. It's controversial subject that the VPN should have here on their face or not.
No, that's not even the question. The fact that this person has this faith and they're looking for that inspiration, of course you want to help, right? So,
and she gave, like Taru Singh movie gave courage to a BB to move around and
go against all of society. Yeah.
So I didn't accept Guru's hukam, whatever, like it was happening to her body,
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
again, like, I mean, I know you're not saying this, but it's because those Gursikh qualities are there in those characters. It's like when we do Ardas, we're doing the Ardas and we're remembering that what are those sacrifices, because they give us that strength to do whatever we're going to do. That if they could do it with the Guru's help, I can also do this with Guru's help. So same thing, like when you're watching these stories, because these are not these are not like some Arnold Schwarzenegger or Rambo movies entertaining you with all this, explosions and fighting and, clever sayings and things like that. These are highlighting those Gursikh qualities, of Gursikh stories, the stories of our shaheeds and our history. And it's not because it's a movie that it's so powerful. It's because those stories are so powerful and they're inspiring. So hearing them over and over, if it's giving somebody that strength, I mean, that's an amazing story. And I totally can see it. I see that repeating these things. This is why Guru Sahib gave us a nitnem and ardas that we're doing every day. It's to do it remember over and over, because we're going to always, as our day goes on, we go like this. All the distractions, money, bills, personalities that we have to deal with. And then every day, Guru Sahib says, here's your nitnem, ardas, hukamnama. Then again, we go like this and then come. So we need that regular reminder. That's a really amazing story. That's very impressive. So that was Bhai Taru Singh. And Bhai Taru Singh, then since you had a better strategy now, you guys did make money and you were able to go on the next project.
Haji. We did. By then, the next one was by Sukhwinder Singh
Shahbaz Singh.
Haji. And
what were the challenges there, though?
Challenges were like now, because I was dealing with a different set of characters. So my idea when Bhai Taru Singh Ji was a very somber person, very gambhir in Punjabi. You say the real word. I don't know how to express it in English.
Yeah,
he had a very calm, cool personality, and very sober, and very
Americans would
polite.
say chill. He was very chill.
Polite, everything. Now, by Sukhwinder Singh Shahbaz Singh, they were very learned people, and I wanted to show them like beparwah.
Right.
So there was the word. So I built their character around it. So and if you that almost excepting by first movie, rest every script I had. I'm a part of the script writing, and so when I was developing the character of Sukhwinder, so I wanted them to be very beparwah kind of people.
Yeah.
They're not worried about anything.
Yeah, totally worry free. Because they have faith that Waheguru takes care of everything.
And even in the face of the death, they were like cracking jokes.
Yeah. Yep.
So and then when I made the movie, when it was ready, and my partner, he watched the movie, he wasn't impressed. Even by Mandheer Singh Ji from Patrikar, Delhi, the press, he is total sold out on Bhai Taru Singh Ji movie.
Yeah.
And when we met in Delhi, when we were doing the screening, he came to watch. That was a time when he had went to that shoe throwing.
Yeah.
So
I need to get Janelle Veerji onto the podcast too. I would love to talk to him.
Yeah. So we met first time in the auditorium, and after the movie, he took me in embrace and he didn't let me go for almost 5 minutes, and so he was doing Simran. Our eyes were welled up, He was so much like overwhelmed by the movie. And when we called him for the preview of Bhai Sukhwinder Singh Veerji, so go back, he said, I was looking by Taru Singh Ji, this movie, and I didn't find it. So there was no Bhai Taru Singh, this by Sukhwinder Singh Veerji, And my partner, he said, he was also not so happy, He said, no, this movie is not good. It will not make its money. I say, okay. And he even had, there was a few guests out there. He was telling them, no, it's not the movie I had wanted. No. So I say, okay. I said, when I made him sit, I said, okay, look at it. This is our baby, and our baby is the best in the world. Okay, so
Yeah.
now forget, don't compare it with anybody else.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go to the Sangat and tell them we had come up with another story, which is very nice, and let's see. No, so he said, no, it will not make money, man. We are not out here to make money. And
Right.
was it our objective? What was the objective? We wanted to take the stories, the great stories, the history to the Sangat, and we are meeting that objective. And forget money, aandi or nahi aandi, it makes profit or not, it even recovers the money. He said, yeah, okay. So then we went around, and that movie was also very well received. It
Yeah.
is, and I had people who liked their character, the way they were portrayed in the movie, because we need that kind of very free people who can be bogged down by any situation. So
But was there something different in the production from Sundri and Bhai
no,
Taru Singh to Sukhwinder Singh
not
Veerji?
much. No, yeah, Sundri, Bhai Taru Singh, and Sukhwinder Singh Veerji, the quality it remained.
Yeah, so you had like
Yeah,
similar team size and
similar team.
similar.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so animation, we try to add better animation with each story. In Paitar Singh, the fight sequences were better than the previous ones, because
Yeah.
earlier, so we had very basic fight sequences, but then we started experimenting. In Sukhwinder Singh Shahbaz Singh, we did a really very good fight sequence. So I watched few historical movies and then took references from there, then asked my animation team to model the fight sequence, because you remember the the fight sequence where Jaspat Rai get killed, you know. So
Yeah.
and by Nihung Singh, he rides the elephant and beheads him.
Yeah.
That is the first time we had such an intense fight sequence in the movie,
Right.
where the actions were animated very well.
Yeah.
So that adds to the cost of the movie, you see.
So I don't want to necessarily get into like comparing the intent or the movie side by side or anything like that, but like when the movie Char Sahibzadey came out, it was very huge release. It had those 3D type animations, obviously had very big budget behind it, had all this money, and a lot of people were watching that, enjoying it because of the action. They like the action sequences. What effect did that have on you guys? How did that influence what you thought about making these movies? Because I kind of feel like once everything started to go a certain direction, the people in general are, they lost that. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong word here, but the feeling for maybe something that's a little more authentic.
Yes. Now the glamour was playing a big role. The cinema and biggest thing that came our way was people started telling me because by the time I was alone in the company in Vismaad, all my partners, they had already left and exited one by one. Okay. And so right now I'm single at Sawa Lakh running the show.
Yeah.
And so people started telling me, look, you created the market for animation, and this guy, he made the money.
Yeah.
I say, we were never there to make the money. And Vaiguruji gave us that strength. We don't want to be our objective ever. So, but people started telling me, why don't you do it? You should do it. You should do it. And then some good Sikhs from Dallas, they called me. They say, Veerji, why are you doing this animation? Animation cinema. I say, we don't have enough money. Now the bar has been raised. People will be looking for 3D animation. So that will need big budgets. Like we were doing like in 250,000, 300,000 budget dollar. And now you should be looking at minimum million, 2 million budget to make the kind of movies the Sahibzadey has given, Char Sahibzadey has shown. And the cinema release at its own cost.
And just to mention, Char Sahibzadey, it was maybe a step up because of this 3D animations and their budgets, but that's not the target. I mean, even like how much does Disney spend on their animation? Like when they release these movies, their budgets are tens of millions, 100 million,
Yes.
like
And
huge budgets. So we're not
average,
limited.
yes, average Disney movie is like $60 million minimum.
Right.
And the Ice Age series, they've been made at 120, $150 million.
Yeah. Wow.
And in Avatar, it's a $500 million movie.
Yeah.
But when if they spend so much, they earn that much as well.
Yeah,
So
I mean, they have a
Avatar,
much bigger global audience and they have a much
yes,
bigger distribution system. But
yes,
I'm just saying, like, we're not just trying to match a certain
yes,
standard. And like you
yes,
said, you're not in the business of making money from this. But
yes,
there has to be revenues generated to keep producing these kinds of projects. And
yes.
if we want that level, we could hire Disney. We could come up with a story and all these things and hire these Disney animators. There's plenty of people that used to work for Disney that have left Disney, or, they would work on things. I have no doubt you could find musicians and voice actors, right? Like all these things, we can find it. But the resource has to be there, and if we
the only thing you need is money.
Yeah,
dollars.
it's just the money, and I think sometimes people think, oh well, how much money you're going to give, or how much money is being made, and who's getting this money, and things like that. And I'm sure you've heard these kinds of complaints yourself.
Always.
Yeah. So how do you deal with that? How do you handle that?
I had some very interesting experiences. I tell you one very nice story.
Yeah.
So I have a friend in Mohali. He used to be in New York before, and he shifted to Mohali. And so he had this habit. Whenever he had anybody coming from overseas, from USA to Punjab visiting him, he would bring them to my studio in Vismaad. So come, I show you where the movies are made.
Yeah.
So one day he bring one Bhai Sabji and from USA, and he came and he said, okay, this is Sukhwinder Singh. He had made all the animation movies that you see. He said, which animation movies? I say, okay, I took out the DVDs. Okay, I know I've seen those packets somewhere. Maybe somebody had given me. They might be lying in my house somewhere. I never watched them. I said, okay, take another set. I gave them all the 5 movies, and I told him, okay, if you watch Sahibzadey, then after Sahibzadey, watch Mandheer Singh Veerji. If you watch Bhai Taru Singh, you first watch Sukhwinder Singh Veerji after. These are like sequences, they're the sequels to the movies.
Right.
I gave him the set, and maybe like 3-4 months down, suddenly he walks with the Veerji comes back with the same paisa to my office, and he's carrying this har, fulla da har, the garland, and he puts it on my.
Now he wants to honor you.
He grabs me in his embrace, won't let me. What have you created? It's such an amazing feeling. I didn't know such a great things are happening. So he said, and he shared his experience. We were on a vacation, and in the hotel, me, my wife, and my daughter, we were sitting. He said, okay, it was late evening. We said, okay, let's watch the movie. So we set up it on my laptop and we watched the movie, and now all 3 were crying. And my daughter told me, I want to talk to the person right now. I said, no, it's too late. Let's talk. I will go back. So then he started asking me questions. How you do it? I said, nothing. So each movie funds another movie. And if we are short of funds, we divert our IT profits. And when the movie makes money, we take by some of money. But as of now, maybe like $300,000-$400,000 maybe over the years of our IT profits are gone into these movies and all those stuff. You say, no, you should be doing properly. You should have a proper corporate setup. You should have a lot of funding. I do it. Like I say, if you do the show, no, Sanu, to see the show. We can do the work. We are production people. You guide us. You are a corporate person. Now you'll guide us how to do it.
You know how to do it. Tell us how to set up.
Okay, how much money you need? I say, if you give us like 10 million rupees, okay, so I think we can make enough content which can start paying itself. Say 10 million, okay, I commit myself, I pay you 1 crore rupiah. I say, okay, so how to go about it? Yes, you tell me. I say, okay, we have like, now problem is you're investing in our animation. And right now, our animation and IT are both done in the same company. Although we keep the accounts separate, I know how much is going into the animation. And so he say, okay, I say, okay, now because you're coming, and I'll hive off my IT business from it. So we make two companies. So he say, okay. So how long it? I guess maybe a month or so. He said, okay, I'll come back in. That was like in September. I'll come back in October, and you do the corporation thing, and I'll invest in the company. Then we start. I'll bring more people, and I say, okay, now if you're investing, we were looking at some stake in the company. He said, you whatever you say. I say, okay, we are two partners. We're 50% each. You come in, so we become 1/3 partner each. He said, okay, done. Okay. So, and then before he left, he asked me, I can give you some money if you want. I said, no, it doesn't matter. That was a wrong decision. So I said, no matter. No worries. Let me make the corporation and you can transfer the funds from USA. And somehow he got delayed. And so when he comes back, now he had time to rethink.
Oh, okay. Boy.
He had time to discuss with his friends, his family, and all. They say, okay, so Sukhwinder Singh, now I'm still the game, but now I want 50%. I said, for myself, it's okay. I'm okay because I have no pucker on these things.
Right.
And this is a Panthe cause. It should be done anyways. Let me talk to my partner. The partner was apprehensive. He said, like, if he takes 50% and if you side with him, I'm out. I say, okay, now my guarantee, I'll never side with him. I'll be with you always. Don't worry. So he said, okay, somehow I made him agree and he said, okay. And then he said, okay, I'll come back. And then suddenly he didn't come back. This whole talk was on telephone, right, from USA. So then he comes back, he doesn't do anything, and I stopped chasing him. Okay?
Yeah.
That's my fate.
So something happened. He changed his mind. And that happens sometimes with people, but you learn the lesson that you have to strike when the iron is hot.
But I didn't miss the opportunities later again. Again came the opportunity. We met at some meeting. I said, Paji, what ki karte ho? I need to say, okay, acha. Then somehow we realized that we were flying to New York on the same flight from Delhi. We say, okay, we'll have very good quality time. We'll discuss it in the flight.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And in the flight, he went. He said, okay, so Sukhwinder Singh, Baki Pullo, I give you one final offer, and you decide. Money is in your account tomorrow. I said, tell me, give me 51%. Okay, I say, okay, from my side, I'm okay. I say yes, but let me get down. I'll talk to my friends. And then I spoke to three of my good friends who have always been a great support. I said, I can't raise this kind of money. I keep going around fundraising, door to door. And $500-200 kathe karke movie banane hai. So I'm convinced that if he brings this big chunk of money, he should be given the 50. And they say, okay, go ahead. So I said, go ahead. So
but hang on one second. The problem with 51% ownership is now you can make the rules.
Yes,
you're the majority partner.
Yes. But I knew that content-wise, I'll have the control.
You still had the control for the content.
Yeah, the content. So because the agreement would be that no one can interfere in the content.
Yeah.
So we'll decide the content. He can only manage the finances, how the corporation works, everything. When it comes to content, that agreement was that we'll have the final verdict on whenever it is this content. Our word will be the final. So then the whole legal documentation started. It took 2-3 months.
Okay.
I had to go to Singapore, get my partner sign certain documents, legal documents, and I come back. And one morning, so we had a meeting set up. I was going to his place with all the documents, hand over the paper, and take the check from him. And this friend from Bombay calls me, Mumbai. Suddenly, a long lost friend. He says, Sukhwinder Singh, ki karde ho? जी कंपनी वो एनिमेशन है वो पैसे मिल रहे हैं, 1 crore रुपया 51% दे रहे हैं. What, 50%? This is wrong. I say, why? You should be doing this. I say, then what should I do? Are you pay me 10 million? I don't give him. He says, okay, take it from me. I say, are you sure? I say, yes, I'm sure. I can pay you the money. And I say, okay, but now I have. So are you willing to go with him also? He said, no problem. So I go there. I give him the papers and say, Vijay, this is good news. You told me we'll bring more investors. So even before you could bring an investor, I have another investor in the company. So things are happening good, you know. You say, okay. So what's that? I say another Veerji is willing to pay like invest 100,000, 10 million. Say, okay, good. So how much stake we gave him? No stake.
Yeah.
It should be a grand. I said, no, Vijay, it is not done. Like when you invest 10 million and he invests 10 million, he should be getting some stake and we should have equal stake. So I said, no, either you go with him or you come with me. So he was finding
he found a way
out.
Yeah.
Straight way out. So I said, okay. So now I come back to this person. So I say, okay, Vijay, give me the money. The other person has backed out. He says, no worries. I have a office space in Bombay. You come and sell it and take the money. Man, no, I'm not a real estate agent. The property.
Yeah, that wasn't the deal.
So then, anyways, I say, okay, I'll find a customer. I have few friends in Bombay. I say, can you find a customer? It was a very prime location. He say it will sell very easily. Then now he got some time to rethink. He said, okay, Sukhwinder Singh, you told me about the stake. I don't want stake, but I want 2 board members from my side. I say, okay, I have 2 person in Bombay. They will be, and one is a very top corporate CPA kind of person. I say, no worries. And I come and give them a presentation.
Yeah.
I went to the Bombay. I gave a presentation. So if we pay you this money, how will you ensure that this money brings back more money? He said, okay, give me a plan. I say, okay. So that was end of March. I say, okay, April, I'm traveling. I'm in US. I'll come back in May, 2nd week. So in between, I'll prepare the plan and I'll submit to you. So I took a template, put the figures in, created a whole thing, 5-year plan, how the money will multiply and all. And when come back, and so if I say I had agreed him to send the plan on 10th, I sent it on 15th. And when I sent it, no, you are late, I'm out.
Oh, no. So now you're back at square one.
So now I have realized one thing. This project, it has to go with small Sangat contribution.
I was going to say that this is perfect for that grassroots kind of money raising. You know, we have all these crowdfunding type things. You are also featured on the Swand Network, things like that. But those things need to get out. People need to know still that this is how we can fund these projects. There are so many Sikh families across the world. North America, all you need is a few dollars a month from $5 a month from every Sikh in the world, and we can produce. It's nothing. It's nothing for people.
Yeah, that can give you a Disney quality movie.
yeah, exactly. And I think that of course, we want to upgrade the quality. And to me, it's very frustrating that everybody gets inspired, everybody gets excited, but then none of us really are committed to seeing these future projects go. And I don't know if it's because we don't know how difficult this is. You know, it's somebody's making movies, you know, then people aren't paying attention.
And people have this impression that we are making money out of it. We are carriers, everything is from the movies, which is not.
But even if you were, I think people need to stop. Even if you were making money off of it, it's still a good movie. Like we watch movies like Braveheart. And we think, oh man, look at that. What a great representation of the Scottish history and their rebellion and how they fought and that passion. Those people made a lot of money making that movie and we're still inspired by it. So I think one thing is we need to stop criticizing that who's making money and who's not.
Yeah.
But in reality here, this is not a for-profit adventure. This is a Panthic driven project. These projects are designed to inspire our youth and give us history. Like you know, this new modern age where media is everything, you know, the YouTube videos and podcasts like this or whatever, we are distributing so much information this way. And the idea that we're going to, read the old books and things like that, that's disappearing, especially with the younger kids and stuff. So we need these kinds of projects. So where are we at now? Like what is going on now? What are you working on anything? And what are the needs? What are the needs? What do we need to do?
Okay. So I started with a story about Dallas, you remember?
Yeah.
So the good Sikhs from Dallas, they called me.
Yeah.
So they called me, okay, come to Dallas. We'll have a brainstorming. I went there. 2 nights we were sitting late till bit past midnight. They were asking me 5, 6 good Sikh friends, you know. So, make a movie, Paisa, make a movie. Our kids are like, they are so much inspired, you know. I say, I said, like, look, the things have changed a lot. Okay. Now with Charles Sahibzadey, the mark has been raised.
Yeah.
So now maybe I think we have to go the cinema. We have to try going cinema route. And we should maybe try a hand in 3D animation also. But 3D animation will be very expensive. I say, okay, 2D animation, what is the cost like? I say, if I go my previous experience, 250,000 to 300,000. I say, okay, if we raise like 100,000 from here, so will you be able to raise the rest of the money? I say, maybe I can talk to other good Sikhs and I can raise the balance of the money. And something I can pool from my own, the monies that I have. So we decided, okay, instead of trying a new movie, I say, why not? Like Taru Singh has been very inspirational. It's like almost 5 years now. And still a lot of Sangat hasn't watched it. So why not we take it to the cinema? The cost will be less. We'll experiment. We know what it takes and what are the problems associated with it. What are the challenges? We'll learn it with it. And then we can go try another fresh movie and they say, agree, okay. So they raised 60,000 and it was an investment kind of thing where I agreed to pay back the money to them from the movie revenue.
Right.
And then I raised some more money from outside, like 100,000 I raised, another 100,000 we spent from our own. And then when it came for the release, we didn't have enough money. So we did the crowdfunding thing. We raised another like $80,000 from crowdfunding for the release. So, but the movie was like $300,000+, creating the cinema version of Bhai Taru Singh Ji.
Okay.
So what happened? So after all this, we released it in the cinema with a lot of fanfare. We had a lot of great endorsements. So for 20, 30 endorsements from all the known Ragi Singhs, Parcharaks, and the politicians. And everybody endorsed the movie. And but unfortunately, it didn't work. Nobody turned up to watch the movie in cinema. So we spent $335,000, something like that, on the movie. And we got only $35,000 back.
So a tenth.
That's one wapas aa gaya sade ko.
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. I think that is a challenge, though, re-releasing something that everybody already has it on DVD at home and things like that. So it's going to be a little more challenging. But we as a community, we have to know that we are spending our money to support the project, not whether we've seen the movie or not, or whether we know what happens. This is our history. We already know what is going to happen. But you mentioned something and it made me think one thing. And I know we've been going like probably over an hour now, so you must be tired. But before I let you go, you mentioned the endorsements from the Ragi Singhs and everything. Sundri and Bhai Taru Singh particularly, the music was just the kirtan, the sound, fantastic. Right? So popular. It's so popular. In fact, people are using the clips for their videos and all over the place, right? You hear the sound. How did you go about producing that music and capturing those feelings? How did you figure who you're going to hire? Who's going to sing these tunes? What tune are we going to play, etc.?
Okay, my choice was my first thing was to find the right shabad. So that
Hmm.
used to be my big challenge. The shabad has to be not a very long shabad
Yeah,
because there is limited time on cinema in the
sure.
cinema. So find an appropriate shabad which captures the emotion of that particular scene.
Right.
That was one challenge. So once that is decided, so then
And who
somehow
did that? You did that? You were the one choosing the shabads?
most of the time
Yeah.
I was like doing that, and and it used to happen like suddenly doing my name, sitting in kirtan or listening to some kirtan, the
Hmm.
idea would pop up. So that's how the whole shabd would come. Keda shabd lagana hai? Karte kirtan karde karde kisi ne sunaya.
Right.
Okay, this is the shabd. So and then Ragi sings. So it so happened like if I would when I watched Ragi Singh doing Kirtan in Darbar Sahib, Sukhwinder Singh, Bhai Sukhwinder Singh Dilli
Hmm.
Wale.
Yeah.
So he is the one who did the Kirtan for Bhai Subir Singh, Shahbaz Singh, and Bhai Taru Singh ji.
Taru Singh, yeah.
And so that's how I heard them doing Kirtan in Darbar Sahib few times. So I loved their voice.
Yeah.
So I called them. I said, would you do this movie, Shabd? They said they were so much happy. And so the music director whom we have been working with since Sundri days, he's again a very God-fearing person, very
Hmm.
devoted. He's Atul Mishra, but very much devoted, very much a spiritual kind of person.
Right.
So when we sit, we talk less about project and we talk more about the spiritual things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and he loves doing our movies, and he never tells me a price for the project. He say,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
whatever you give, and then it is his words like. We feel like every whole day here we keep doing all the nonsense songs, Punjabi songs and the stuff.
Sure.
When these movies come, we feel so much grateful to Vaiguruji that okay, something worthwhile we are doing now.
Yeah.
So that's the bhavna. That's the kind of dedication he has to this.
Yeah.
So all these things they translate into the movie creation.
Yeah.
So we do is like we tell the whosoever is doing the shabad, we tell them, okay, you come with your own composition, decide this is a shabad, and try to do something within the rag the shabd is written. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's not a pure rag, sometimes it's like it's based on that rag,
Right.
So
Okay.
Adaleki take it's in Telang, but it has some
Yeah.
extra notes, and it only enhances the whole feeling.
Right.
So then the music director he does a little bit of his whatever he can do it better, and then and Ragi Singhs are amazed. And so Bhai Satwinder Singh, he told me, Paisa, I don't know how we did the recording. We never had this kind of experience. One take the Shabad was recorded.
Wow.
And every time. So this when we do the Shabads, we do Ardas, and Guru Sahib is so graceful. The things come out the best the first time.
Wow. That's great.
And
Yeah, no, the music definitely, the Shabbat selection, the rags, everything about it, they match so perfectly with the mood. And I knew there was more to it than just, yeah, this is appropriate Shabbat and these ragis are great. I knew it had to be more than that because you really feel something, right? It's people who understand what the emotion is, and then how to sing so that other people feel that emotion. So, just speaking of music real quick, I don't know if you've been able to check my preview. I'm going to be releasing these episodes soon, but I also put a little homage to Dulavirji at the end of my episodes. So, because for me, we were very isolated growing up. We were in a small town in Ohio, isolated from everything. All we had is tapes. We were listening to by Mandheer Singh SDO, by Joginder Singh Jitawara, Dulavirji. Those were the main people who were listening, by Mayor Singh Ji, by Jeevan Singh Ji. That's what the exposure we had. We listened to that all the time. And that has influenced so much of my life. So I wanted, even with this podcast, I wanted to do a little tribute to that background. It's not a pure thing. It's very Americanized, but I will let you listen, and then maybe you can message me what you think.
I'm been like chasing Dula Veji to do at least one Shabad in one of the movies. So not been successful. The kind of character he is.
Yeah. I think your best bet is just take a recording from one of the smagams and ask him if you can use it.
No. And the best thing happened after Bhai Sukhwinder Singh Singh. So when he came back home in Toronto or in Brampton, he said, "Agli movie mein tera kam karanga. I'll sing a shabad na. Agli movie mein to." I was so happy. And when we were doing the Sukhwinder Singh thing, he was in Delhi. I kept pleading him, "Viji, do the war, the akhir se jehdi war gaande na."
Yeah.
जो मछली बिन पानी है क्यों जीवन पावे. I kept pleading. He said, "Okay, karte hain." Then he came back. He didn't do it. And when he watched the movie, he said, "Okay, next time. I hope the next time comes soon so that we can."
Luigi can be funny like that. He might know something. He might know that there's no movies coming, and that's why he promised.
I know.
Okay, Veerji, we've been going for over an hour, and I really appreciate the time you took today. All the way across the world, you're there, and you joined me this morning. I really, really appreciate it. There's a lot of great information. Hearing the struggles, hearing the process that you went through with these movies, maybe we can reignite some of the enthusiasm and passion and get people to kind of start looking, how can I help fund these projects, or how can I encourage more of these projects?
Thank you that you thought me worthy of this podcast.
Oh yeah, no. It's the other way around. Thank you so much for coming on. This is my little foolish attempt at trying to do something good. Okay, Veerji.
I think this is the longest we ever spoken together, isn't it?
I think so. It's because it's only because I have your undivided attention. Usually when I'm talking to you, there's so many other people and everybody wants to talk to you. So I don't get that much time, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
And hopefully we can do more in the future. And especially if we get another movie coming, I would love for you to come on and tell us the whole story, how you produced it and what happened. So I hope we have an opportunity, and we'll have Dula Veerji doing some
Shabad
in there. Okay, Veerji.
With that optimism, like we can part today.
Yeah. Hopefully he will listen to this. I doubt it, but
I'll send the link to him.
Yeah. Do that.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the Nihung's Arena. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.